Hola amigos y amigas, you are now with Jocelyn, and this is our weekly energy reading for the week ahead, where we are gaining a deeper understanding and higher conscious awareness of the overall energy for this coming week. And in this video, we are tapping into the energy of the Aquarius new moon that we have taking place on February 1st, 2022. And depending on where you are in the world, it may also be taking place on January 31st. We are also tapping into the energy of the Chinese Lunar New Year. I open myself up to receive the energies of that if that comes in. That is on February 1st. And we're also opening ourselves up to receive whatever other messages may arise for whatever this upcoming week has in store for us. And I do want to say that coming into this reading, something feels just very significant and powerful and special. So I'm really excited to get into this reading and tap into whatever messages we're meant to receive so that we can truly remain in alignment with our ascension and with our higher potentials, our higher selves. So thank you all so much for being here. And honestly, I just want to thank you all for opening yourselves up to receive these messages, to receive guidance, and for trusting me to receive and relay these messages to you. It's truly such an honor, and I'm so grateful to be here, so grateful for all the resources available to me to share these messages with you. So without further ado, let's get into these messages. And I do want to share and reiterate that I do offer one-on-one energy readings. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're seeking clarity and you resonate with the way in which I give and receive messages, then look into it. Okay, so in my preparation for this reading, I already received some messages for us here, and as I mentioned, they feel very significant, very special, and I want to remain in this vibration. If you'd like to take a deep breath, let's take one deep breath. Take an inhale and exhale. What is the overall energy for this upcoming week? What is the overall energy for this upcoming week? What is the overall energy for this upcoming week amongst this Aquarius new moon? Are there any other messages? Guardians of the four corners, Mother in the earth, Father in the sky, sacred ones, angels, loving ancestors, Most High. Are there any other messages for us that you would like us to become aware of for the overall energy for this upcoming week? We already received quite a few here for the overall energy. I just want to double check and see if there's anything else. Any other messages for this upcoming week? Any other messages for this upcoming week? Okay. I feel like there are quite a few messages trying to make themselves known to us. So let's get into what we have. We've got the Lord energy to take charge with authority. And this is really a call for us to just take charge of our lives. And I feel like this card arose in one of the recent energy readings. So this is coming up as an affirmation, as a gentle reminder again, that we are the ones in charge of our lives. And it is important that we remind ourselves that. It's important that we are reclaiming our power. We are aware that we are the ones that grant ourselves our liberation. Self-empowerment, self-liberation is incredibly important during these times and in this season of our journeys. both collectively and individually. So in what ways do you need to take charge? In what aspects of your life do you need to take charge with authority, with that leadership quality and energy and essence of like, you know, assertiveness? And this is like very much so like divine masculine energy, where it's like, okay, I know this is what I need to take care of, and I'm going to take care of it. We also got the fire guardian to ignite your passions. This is really a time for us to be holding space and creating space and prioritizing our passions and using that passionate fire-like energy within us that is burning, that is loud, that has been suppressed, that is trying to come out and be released and liberated and known to the world. It's time for us to really allow them to be ignited, allow them to be known, allow them to come out, allow them to be seen, allow them to have, you know, our time and energy and attention and focus and devotion and dedication. So, what are your passions? What passions have been trying to ignite themselves and need you to take charge in igniting them? We've got the Hermit to retreat and recharge. This is a time for us to be very mindful of our energetic hygiene. This is time for us, you know, we're still in the season of winter and we're progressing into springtime, where things are going to be more out and open and abundant. And I was going to say abundant, but that's not true. Winter is just as abundant as spring as well, just in a different way. But spring is, you know, full of bloom and, you know, full of outward expression. And we're still in the season of winter, where it's very much so inward expression. It's very much so still coming into ourselves and acknowledging what it is that we need to acknowledge, confronting what it is that we need to confront, take care of what it is that we need to take care of, taking charge, right? But it's important that we continue to be hermits, that we continue to allow ourselves to retreat, to have moments of solitude, to really come into our own vibration and our own energy and our own frequencies, and be able to discern what energies belong to us and what energies don't belong to us, what passions belong to us and what passions don't belong to us, what emotions belong to us, what emotions don't belong to us. So allow yourselves, you know, under this new moon, in this upcoming week, to really spend time with yourselves and really practice discernment of what it is that belongs to you and doesn't belong to you, internally and externally. We've got the Spirit Box to trust your talents in changing times. Trust your talents in changing times. There is a lot of change taking place, and a lot of this change is change that we don't see. There's change that we see, but we also have to acknowledge that there are changes that we don't see, and we have to trust both of them. We have to trust the changes that we see, and we have to trust the changes that we don't see, and remind ourselves that there are changes happening throughout the universe that we aren't seeing with our own eyes at this time, but are contributing to our divine unfoldment, are contributing to our manifestations, are contributing to all of divine order. So it's important for us to be trusting, you know, our talents and trusting our passions as we ignite them. When you are igniting your passions, trust the divinity that will come from that. Trust the manifestations that will come from that. Trust the changes that will come from you igniting your passions. Perhaps you are about to ignite them. Perhaps you've been feeling increasingly inspired to ignite them or curious to ignite them. Perhaps you've already been in the works of igniting your passions, of investing and trusting your talents. and you're already experiencing these changes, and this is just a reminder for you to trust how everything is playing out and to continue on your journey of creating, of investing in your passions, of taking charge over your life in this way, in this creative, passionate way. We've also got the Mirror Guardian to take time to reflect, and this is really in alignment with the Hermit, to retreat and recharge, right? To really take that time to reflect on our journeys, to reflect on how we're investing our time and energies, to reflect on the direction of our lives, to really just turn inward and assess and inquire, and also just be, right? It's important that when we are taking time with ourselves, that we don't also congest that time like we do the rest of the day when we are with others, so just filling in the voids. It's important to allow ourselves to just be in nothingness and stillness sometimes. But this is a time to reflect as we're stepping into the Chinese Lunar New Year, as we're stepping into a lot of planets going direct as well at this time, as we're stepping into clarity and revelations, as we're stepping into this new moon and new cycle. Let us take time to reflect, to look in the mirror, and acknowledge what we see, acknowledge what we have not seen. Let's see how this reading continues to unfold. Okay. Should any challenges arise this upcoming week under this new moon? Should any challenges arise this upcoming week as we step into the Chinese Lunar New Year? Should any challenges arise this upcoming week? What energies are we suggested? Are we nudged? Are we reminded to tune into? What energies do we tap into should any challenges arise? What energies do we tap into should any challenges arise? What energies do we tap into should any challenges arise? What energies do we tap into should any challenges arise? Okay. We've got flow. And to me, this is truly the energy to embody as we trust our divine unfoldment in changing times. As we are experiencing transition and transformation, it's important that we tap into flow, because a lot of the times when we are in the midst of change, a lot of our relationships with change have been challenging. When we think of change, we immediately think of challenge. We immediately think of disturbance. We immediately think of challenge and disturbance. But really, it's important that we don't give into those immediate assumptions, and we just allow ourselves to flow with the changes. We allow ourselves to flow with the challenges and see how, rather than immediately jumping into them and trying to take action and solve the problem and resist and, do all of these things and be extra, may we flow. May we take the time to see how these challenges, how these changes are redirecting us. May we acknowledge them as divine and actively choose not to resist. What would happen if we didn't resist and we just surrendered to the flow of divine order? We've also got abundance. Abundance. What's coming up for me with this card in regards to challenge is that there's two things. One of the challenges that many are experiencing at this time is the mindset of scarcity, is the lifestyle of thinking in scarce, in lack. And it's important that we redirect our perceptions, that we take the time to reprogram, to unlearn and reprogram our thoughts and our ways of being from one of lack to one of abundance. And this is a practice, this takes time, but it's important that we are turning inward and we are acknowledging who we truly are in our essence. And who we truly are in our essence is abundance. And two, the other aspect of this card is when we experience challenging times, a lot of the times we do immediately resort into lack. We resort into scarcity and we start, freaking out and worrying ourselves and stressing, when it's like, again, in essence, we are abundance. You have everything that you need in this moment. Do what you can with what you have, and more will come. The more that you practice gratitude and acknowledge all it is that you have now in this moment, the abundance that exists within and around you in this moment, you are choosing to vibrate on the frequency of abundance. So whenever you find yourself coming into a state of being, a state of thinking that reflects lack, that reflects scarcity, take a moment to, again, reflect and retreat. And remind yourself who you are in essence. Remind yourself not to be so attached to a circumstance, to a temporary situation. We've also got taking risks. Taking risks. Our challenges will sometimes require us to take risks. And when we take risks, sometimes they, perhaps most of the time, or all of the time, they'll feel and bring about challenges. They'll feel challenging. But challenges, like change, I feel like we need to shift our perception and our relationship with them. Change our relationship with change and change our relationship with challenge. Because immediately, again, we think of these two things. We think of challenge and we think of change as synonyms of each other, and we also think of them as disturbances. We think of them as bad. We think of them as, things that cause us to worry and stress and spiral into a state of being that does not serve us. But it's important that we allow ourselves to be challenged, because they shape us into who we're meant to be. And it's important that we take risks, because if we don't, everything will remain the same. We will subscribe to normalcy, and when we are choosing different, it is inevitable that we'll have to take risks and make sacrifices. So just remind yourself of that challenge is a part of life, change is a part of life, and taking risks is a part of a fulfilling, purposeful, different life. We've also got opportunity. And truly, it's just a reminder and an affirmation that our challenges are opportunities. So a perception that we can switch over to with our challenges and with change is, what opportunity is this challenge, is this change presenting to me? Is it an opportunity to practice unlearning scarcity and learning abundance? Is it an opportunity to awaken? Is it an opportunity to heal? And if so, heal what? Awaken to what? Enlightenment. As I mentioned, it's important that we allow ourselves to experience challenge and challenges, and to be challenged and feel challenged, because challenges shape us into who we are meant to be. They teach us lessons, they strengthen us, they awaken us, they soften us, they bring us into acceptance and into surrender, all of which are necessary for a peaceful, abundant, loving, fulfilling life. So our challenges essentially are here to enlighten us. So not only think of the perception of, what is this challenge? What is this change? What opportunity are they presenting to me? But how are they contributing to my enlightenment? How may I allow this challenge? How may I allow this change enlighten me? What do we focus on healing this upcoming week? What do we focus on healing into this Chinese Lunar New Year? What do we focus on healing under this Aquarius new moon? What do we focus on healing? 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 We have a few messages here already, but I want to double check and see if there are any other messages. Sacred ones, guardians of the four corners, Mother in the earth, Father in the sky, loving angels, ancestors, Most High. Are there any other messages for us? Any reminders, any affirmations on what it is that we're encouraged to heal this upcoming week? Okay. The first two that we got is growth. We got growth and forgiveness. A lot of the healing that we need to do is in regards to forgiveness. And we need to know that as we heal forgiveness, we will experience growth. And it's also important to note that our growth will seem challenging, will feel challenging, may come up as challenges in our lives, but ultimately they are contributing to our growth. Change is contributing to our growth. And sometimes, again, we have to acknowledge that there are things in divine order that we do not see in front of our own eyes. So there are things taking place and shifting and moving that we are not aware of. We can be aware of that they are happening, but we aren't aware of what exactly is happening. But one thing that we do know, and that we can continue to remind ourselves, is that it's all contributing to our growth. It's all contributing to our alignment. It's all providing opportunity for us to grow. But forgiveness is a big one, I feel, at this time. Forgiving others and forgiving ourselves. It is time for us to come into this. Who is it that you need to forgive? Who is it that you need to forgive? Who is it that has hurt you? Who is it that has caused you grief? Who is it that wronged you or you feel wronged you? Who is it that you need to forgive? We've also got new beginnings. And our new beginnings are here to heal us. When we grow into our new beginnings, we are in the process of healing. Sometimes we can be so succumbed into the endings of our life that we miss out on the healing that is taking place as we transition into the new beginning, as we are experiencing growth in that very moment, in those changes, in those challenges. Our new beginnings that we are about to be coming into in this Chinese Lunar New Year, in 2022, amongst this new cycle and amongst this Aquarius new moon is going to be incredibly healing. New beginnings are to be excited for. Anger. Are any of you quick to anger? Are any of you experiencing a lot of anger at this time that perhaps is in regards to who it is, what it is that you need to forgive? May the bee remind us that when we are quick to anger and we act upon that, we act upon it without taking a moment with ourselves, and we just react instead of respond mindfully, we risk our lives. When a bee is quick to sting because it's fearful or because it's angry, it sacrificed its life. So it's time for us to heal our anger, and we heal it by allowing ourselves to feel it first. We can feel all of these intense emotions without harming anyone, including ourselves. Reunion of souls. There are some reunions taking place at this time. Whether we already experienced them recently, we're experiencing them now, or we're about to experience them, these reunions are going to be incredibly healing. And may we remember that these reunion of souls are sometimes in the spirit realms, in other dimensions, not just in this one. Sometimes they are in the 3D, sometimes they're in the 5D, and sometimes they are within ourselves when our inner masculine comes into union with our inner feminine. So let's expand our perception of what the reunion of souls may look like. But yes, some of them will be with other human beings in our lives. And they are meant to heal us, to assist our healing and our growth. And sometimes these reunions won't be all fine and dandy. Sometimes they will be challenging. Sometimes they will feel risky. Not in a harmful way, just in a confronting the truth way. And speaking of truth, the last thing we got is truth. Truth is healing, my friends. There is no healthy life, there is no healthy relationship, there is no healthy self without truth. The truth is incredibly healing, and sometimes we're afraid to confront it. Sometimes we don't want to know it. Sometimes we've escaped it for years. Sometimes we suppress it. Sometimes we're afraid of the grief, the the sadness, whatever it is that it may bring. But we cannot escape the truth. The truth will always reveal itself. So this is a time to allow the truth to heal you. Allow the truth to heal you. What truths have you been avoiding? What truths have you not made time for to like really get to know and really understand and really accept? What truths have you suppressed? What truths have you been turning a blind eye to? What are we called to surrender this week? What are we called to surrender this week? What are we called to surrender this week under this Aquarius new moon? Under this Aquarius new moon, we already got quite a few cards here. I want to double check again to see if there are any other messages of surrender we are meant to receive for this upcoming week. Are there any other messages of surrender we are meant to be made aware of at this time for this upcoming week? Okay. We've got surrender to silence. Surrender to silence, and this truly is hermit energy. We will gain much clarity and revelation and balance in being a hermit, in surrendering to silence. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. Sometimes it can feel like in silence, there's nothing there. Perhaps we may have tried coming into silence and we're just sitting there and not listening to anything, and we're like, all right, nothing's coming to me. Like, I don't have any, I'm not gaining any clarity. I don't see what's coming from this. But when you come into silence in that way, with that kind of energy and approach, you're not really allowing yourself to fully open up to silence. Because that kind of approach is a reflection of resistance in some way, shape, or form. Really relax into the silence. Spend some quality time in it. And if you haven't spent time with silence in a long time, it's going to be awkward at first. Just like with anything else that you've been disconnected with for a long time, when you come back into it, it's an adjustment. But once you start spending more time with it, then you start seeing what you have not seen before. You start knowing what you had not known before. Allow the silence to bring you clarity, revelations, peace, grounding, stillness, centeredness, and healing. Surrender to trust. Again, this is a time to trust our journeys, our passions, our talents in changing times, in times of transition and transformation. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what you do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. A lot of the times, as I was mentioning earlier in this reading, when we choose different, when we choose to create something different, create something that doesn't exist, when we choose to be different, to transform into a new version of ourselves, there are going to be people that are going to have their own opinions. There are going to be people that are going to try to sway us in a different direction to come back to where we're coming out of, transitioning out of, transforming out of. Life and certain things may try to pull you back in. But you've got to surrender. You've got to surrender to that trust. You've got to recenter and reground yourself in that trust And remind yourself of why you allowed yourself to begin transitioning, why you allowed yourself to surrender to your transformation in the first place, why you started investing your time and energy in this way, into this idea, into your passions, into this new direction of your life. Keep coming back to that trust. Keep coming back to that intention. Surrender comparisons with other people. This card continues to come up in the readings. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. My friends, no more comparing yourself to others. I know that can be easier said than done, but each time you catch yourself doing it, remind yourself how divine your own journey is, how unique every single one of our paths are, and how we're all experiencing life in different seasons at different times. Surrender your soul's path. Surrender to your soul's path. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. The season that you are in right now is intending to help develop your soul, to help you ascend into new karmic cycles, to help you reach higher potentials. Surrender to your soul's path, because all is unfolding the way it is to assist your soul's development. We are here to develop our souls into wiser souls. We are on the path of becoming wiser. So may we allow ourselves to become wiser. May we allow ourselves to surrender to our divine unfoldment, and knowing that all is unfolding the way it is with the intention for us to be matured, for us to be enlightened, for us to be aligned, for us to be balanced, for us to be vibrating higher. When you begin to really awaken to these truths, that your life, each of our own life paths have been perfectly, uniquely designed for our own soul, our own soul's purpose, our own soul's growth, our own soul's fulfillment. It really is incredible, and it really does, like, that knowing, that conscious awareness really does assist you in no longer comparing your path to anyone else's, because you really trust and realize and know that all is happening in your life and in your journey the way it is for a divine reason. What are our affirmations for this upcoming week? What are our affirmations for this upcoming week as we step into the Chinese Lunar New Year and as we experience the Aquarius new moon? What are our affirmations? What are our affirmations? What are our affirmations? Okay. The first two that we got are: I am safe, it's only change. I am safe, it's only change. I cross all bridges with joy and ease. The old unfolds into wonderful new experiences. My life gets better all the time. I am safe, it's only change. I'm sensing that many of us are going through a lot of changes at this time, as that is something that has come up continuously and repeatedly in this reading. And we're being affirmed that it's time to surrender to trust in this season of change. To trust the decisions that we're making. To trust that things are unfolding the way they are for a divine reason and for our highest good. To assist our soul's development and the fulfillment of our soul's purpose. To trust our passions and to trust our talents, because our passions and talents synonymous to each other, are going to align us to our soul's purpose fulfillment, to our higher potentials, to our growth, to our enlightenment. This is really a time of trusting change, trusting the season of change. I forgive myself. Again, we have this theme of forgiveness coming up. As I forgive myself, I leave behind all feelings of not being good enough. I am free to love myself. I forgive myself. My friends, this is a time for us to practice forgiveness, for us to sincerely, truly, fully forgive and start the process of forgiveness. Because sometimes it is a process. Sometimes it's not all at once. Sometimes we do need time to fully come into that forgiveness. But may we begin that process. May we surrender to it. May we allow it to take place. I see clearly. I willingly forgive. Again, we have forgiveness coming up here. So I'm sensing that forgiveness really is huge at this time. I willingly forgive. I breathe love into my vision, and I see with compassion and understanding. My clear insight is reflected in my outer sight. I see clearly. I deserve the best, and I accept the best now. Before we tune into this last affirmation, I just want to say that when we're unwilling to forgive, that is because we're not seeing something clearly. We're stuck in a perception. We are experiencing some kind of blockage, some kind of limit that we're imposing on ourselves that's not allowing us to forgive fully and truly and sincerely and genuinely, so that we can liberate ourselves from the grudge, from the pain, from the hurt, from the sadness, from the anger that our unforgiveness is keeping us in. But when we do see clearly, we are willing to forgive. I deserve the best, and I accept the best now. I am mentally and emotionally equipped to enjoy a prosperous and loving life. It is my birthright to deserve all good. I claim my good. I love this affirmation. I feel like this is a beautiful affirmation to bring this reading to a close. I deserve the best, and I accept the best now. Something to keep in mind is that when we really affirm, that it is our birthright to deserve all good, that we deserve good, that we are claiming our good, that we deserve the best and we accept the best right now. When we really begin to affirm that and speak life into that and claim that in our lives, may we know that, life is going to begin to shift and change and transform in ways that are going to align us to the best that we deserve, to the good that we are claiming in our affirmations. We can't expect life to remain the same when we are desiring different. So may we allow change to take place, and may we trust those changes and where they are aligning us, where they are leading us, and acknowledge how it is that they are assisting, they are contributing to our soul's growth, to the fulfillment of our soul's purpose. May we trust ourselves increasingly so on this journey of enlightenment and fulfillment. May we deepen our relationship with ourselves and trust ourselves even more deeply as we continue to experience change and transition and transformation, because we need that. We need to trust ourselves in these seasons. And it will make that season a lot easier when we do surrender to trust. Thank you all so much for being here. I pray that this reading provided you comfort, it provided you clarity, it provided you peace, it resonated with you. And if you did resonate with one or more of these messages, I would love to know which ones you resonated with. But may you know that you are not alone in this. This is a message for the collective. This is a message for many of you, us. Because these messages are for me too. I am no exception. I am not above you. I am simply a vessel that is opening itself up to receive these messages and share them with you for us. So may we know that we are all in this together. We are all experiencing changes. We are all experiencing healing. We are all experiencing, trying to figure out how it is that we can surrender to these things, how we can really allow ourselves to come into these messages and accept them fully, and not just accept them, but act upon them. We're all on that path of, having to retreat and recharge from, from each other, from society, from the outside world, and really come in. Something that I love thinking about when I'm, alone in my meditation is thinking about, all the other people who are also alone in their meditation, and how we're experiencing, how we're simultaneously experiencing this moment of solitude and meditation together. We're all working on trusting our talents, trusting our passions, trusting our decisions and our decision making. We're all taking charge of our lives in different ways, but at the same time. Many of us are. I won't say all of us, but many of us are awakening to these things. And that is why you're here. That is why you're aligning to these kinds of messages and this content, these channels. Trust what it is that you are aligning to, that is intending to assist you in your awakening, in your enlightenment, in your ascension. So I, again, am so honored to align with you and for you to be opening yourself up to receive this, because it truly is an honor for what it is that I'm creating and sharing and channeling and relaying to you, to potentially inspire you and motivate you and clarify you and keep you going on this divine journey of yours. So let's have a beautiful week ahead. May we surrender, may we accept, may we take charge of what we need to take charge of in our lives. May we claim the best, the life that we deserve, and allow the changes that are going to align us to that best, to that good, to that life that we deserve. May we allow those changes to take place so that we can get there. And may we know that, in essence, life is good now.